A question I want to address is something people ask me very, very much, is can you put a pool halfway down in the ground or all the way down in the ground? This is a very specific question that's going to change depending on where you live. For instance, we're out of Georgia. We do not have dirt. We have Georgia clay. Georgia clay packs very well. So when we drop pools down into the ground, we can put Georgia clay up against it. It's going to pack very quickly, and we're not going to run into cave-in issues. We're not going to run into any of that because we have Georgia clay. But it may not be your case in other parts of the country. You know, I know up in Pennsylvania, up in the Northeast, there's a lot of black topsoil. It doesn't pack very well. Here's the issue. If you were to drop a pool all the way down into the ground, the water weight inside that pool is pushing up against the wall. That's going to prevent the dirt from caving in. The issue is, at some point in the life of this pool, the pool's going to have to be drained down and you're going to end up replacing your liner. That's where the issue starts to come in. If you drain this pool down and you have no water weight pushing up against the side of that pool, now you leave it susceptible for that dirt caving in. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if you drain your pool down and the dirt caves in, it's pretty much going to kill your pool and it's going to become a nightmare issue, okay? So as far as dropping your pool all the way down, that's something you're going to have to see what kind of dirt you have. See if that's feasible. Another option is to pour concrete around the outside of the pool as you drop it in to build basically a retaining type wall to prevent this from happening. Now you can do that, but now your price on doing this job has gone considerably up. I've seen people do that and pay more for concrete than they did for the pool themselves, okay? So keep that in mind. Another thing, on a round pool, because the pool is at an arch, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, the Romans designed an arch that they put over their doorways. By designing that arch, it equaled out the pressure of the weight of the next story sitting on top of that arch. And it allowed the Romans to build very, very high buildings because that arch was so strong. This is the same flavor for a round swimming pool. Because it has that arch all the way around, it's going to help hold that dirt back some. The trick is if you go with an oval pool. If you drop an oval pool down in the ground, there's going to be a section on that, the sides of that oval pool are going to be straight. And basically it's just a straight piece of sheet metal standing there. It has no support, it can be very weak. So dropping an oval pool all the way down in the ground, you really want to go with a slurry mix or a concrete mixture. You don't want to just pack dirt up against it. So here's what I recommend to people. This is what we've seen. This is what we've experienced. Now, this is still going to vary depending on the dirt that you have in your area. But you can normally drop an above ground pool, a metal wall above ground pool halfway down, which is about 2 feet. I've seen tons and tons and tons of people drop it down halfway and never have an issue. At the bottom of the pool, that's where a bunch of the water weight's pushing against the wall. It's the highest amount of pressure, and I've never seen to this day people have cave-in issues if you only drop the pool halfway down. It's dropping the pool all the way down that you're going to start running into some issues, especially if you have a soft soil, okay? So that's the general vibe there on dropping a pool all the way down. If you want to drop it down 6 inches, if you want to drop it down 2 feet, as a cave-in situation, you should be fine. When you start going deeper than that, you're going to run into issues, okay? On a round pool, you can maybe drop it all the way down. 2 foot's no big deal. If you're doing an oval pool, keep in mind that those sides are straight and they offer no support. So you're going to want to come back with some sort of concrete mixture or a slurry mixture, which is a type of concrete basically, to help prevent that dirt from pushing up against the pool. Now, Another aspect of dropping this pool all the way in the ground is you want to keep in mind the minerals in the soil are going to speed up the rust process of the pool. For instance, if you just put a pool on top of the ground, okay, it's sitting on top of the dirt, what you'll notice is 15, 20 years down the road, the first thing to die on the swimming pool is going to be everything on the very bottom, everything that's sitting on the ground. Why is that? Because the minerals in the soil speed up the rust process of the pool. That's given. I mean, the bottom of the pool is almost always the first thing that really rusts out, okay? You know, unless you have some type of leak that you don't deal with for, you know, 3-4 years and it ends up rusting the sidewall or something. But on average, the minerals in the soil are going to speed up that rust process. So keep in mind, when you drop this pool down into the ground and you pack dirt up against it, it's going to speed up the rust process of the pool. What does that mean? Does that mean my pool's only going to last a year now? No. Your pool's still going to get a good life out of it. It's still going to last for a while if you get a good rust-protected model pool. Now, if you get a cheapy pool, it's going to kill that pool, you know, in 6-7 years. You get a decent pool, you put that thing in the ground, and I always recommend you get a good quality pool if you're going to drop it down into the ground, but it's going to speed up the rust process. And what we've noticed is it's going to take a few years off the life of the pool. For instance, let's say you get a pool that technically is going to last you for 20 years. Now it may last you 16, 17 years. So it's not a huge deal, but it's just something you want to keep in mind, okay? Now, something you can also help prevent that is, of course, spray the pool with Rust-Oleum, maybe put some plastic or landscape type material to keep some of that minerals from eating up the rust protection. There's a lot of things you can do with that, but I just want to keep in, you know, have you keep it in mind that it is going to speed up the rust process of the pool. So this is a question I get a lot. Those are the main factors you really want to think about, and I hope I've answered your questions on it.